if you ever want to feel sorry for Pluto, Pluto's puppy sitting adventure will definitely help with that. This is the 15th episode of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, I believe, and was directed by Sherie Pollack. This is a really interesting experience for me because I'm not the biggest Pluto fan. I've talked about this before, nothing against Pluto, but the episodes that revolve around him are very hit or miss. The same with the Disney shorts from way back when, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. But this one, I felt really sorry for Pluto. It's quite a sweet narrative, but it's not the most directly educational. I watch these because, well, partly because I'm a big child and I love Donald Duck, although Donald's not actually in this one, and partly because I like to kind of analyse them to see how educational they are, to see how informative they are. And usually Mickey Mouse Clubhouse episodes are very informative with, naming shapes, learning to count, things like that. This one's not as direct. I think there might have been a bit of counting, but generally it's not direct learning. We're not naming shapes, we're not naming patterns, but we are learning to look after a puppy, which I thought was very cute. Clarabelle Cow is very much a main character in this for a brief period, and I have to say there's something about Clarabelle that I always find really unnerving, and I have done since her first appearance in the shorts. But she has this little puppy, this really gorgeous little puppy called Bella. It's a kind of white little puppy with yellow or orange polka dots, and Clarabelle's going to get her hoofs done, so she asks Mickey to look after this puppy. Mickey does this, and then Daisy comes along, and then Minnie, and they're all taking care of this little puppy, giving her a bath, feeding her, playing with her. And Pluto tries to join in. He tries to, have fun, but unfortunately he keeps getting it wrong. He keeps making her messy when she's just had a bath. He sings too loudly when it's time for her to go to sleep, and he's kind of shunted aside. Not nastily, nobody's being nasty to Pluto, but he does feel put out. And I think that's heartbreaking, actually. There's this one scene where he just kind of slumps away and goes into his doghouse, and it is heartbreaking. I guess that's kind of interesting if, for example, you're an older sibling and your parents have just had a young baby, or a baby, and you're trying to help or you want to be part of it, but obviously babies are very delicate, and sometimes slightly older children aren't the best to have around the baby. If they're boisterous or noisy, they can cause, obviously, naturally, a lot of distress for the young baby. And maybe some children will see themselves in Pluto. So it is educational in that respect. It can make a child feel less alone. Maybe if a parent is watching it with a child, it will make them think about how their older child may be perceiving the situation and the way in which people are talking to them if they have just had a baby. Because I don't know this from experience, but I assume that if you've just had a young baby, your thoughts are just focusing on keeping that baby alive when they're in a very young and fragile state. So maybe you're not fully aware of how your slightly older children are responding to the situation. I don't know. But that would be understandable. But maybe this episode could make people a bit more aware of it and think more about it. So it actually does have its benefits, even if it's not directly educational. It's not my favourite episode. It's not actually my favourite Pluto episode. I think my favourite Pluto episode is Pluto's Best so far, which I thought was really, really enjoyable. But I liked it. I think Bella is absolutely adorable. I don't know if Bella ever appears again, or if Clarabelle's ever seen with her puppy, but I have to say that she's absolutely adorable and very, very cute. So I enjoyed that animation. It's a nice little narrative. Pluto is heartbreaking, of course. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I did, which is always a good thing.